Welcome to Streak Philippines. Well, I got an inquiring mind here, and the big January 2 e-bike restrictions and bans go into effect tomorrow. So I have some really good questions. I'm trying to figure this thing out. How can we get by and still be able to use our 19 kilo pedal assist e-bikes? Okay. First thing I thought, I was thinking about the motorcyclist. You know how Josie, the motorcycles, when they're doing checkpoints on registration and helmets, there will be 100 motorcycles that just stop and sit on the side of the road 2 blocks from the PNP checkpoint, right?
Waiting for them to disappear.
Waiting for them to disappear. And then the PNP, they'll go eat lunch, or they'll just move on to another location and zoom, they're off,
Yeah.
So I have always thought, and I have seen this on other videos, people have said the motorcycles do that because they cannot be stopped for not having registration or a helmet or any violation when they're sitting. They actually have to be driving, okay? That's what I've always understood. So
Actually, this is only for the motorcyclists that they don't have registration or they don't have a updated registration or license.
But guess what I found out when I asked AI about this? Is it true that in the Philippines you can't be stopped if you're just sitting still and waiting for the police checkpoint to move on? False. It's not true. And I've got all the Republic Acts here, the Motorcycle Helmet Act of 2009, all the details here that specifically say that at all times while driving, and driving is also considered sitting. It says both moving and stationary vehicles. So that idea is absolutely false. It's absolutely false according to the laws, and also there's numerous. The Republic Act about helmets, a Republic Act from Land Transportation Traffic Code, and an LTO administrative order, all says that you can't just stop and sit and get by with not following the law. So that is definitely a misconception, and they consider driving as operating a public vehicle even when temporarily stopped. So now, why do you think then, if that's the law, it seems like the PNP is doing what the motorcyclists think they can? They're not fining the people that are stopped down the road, right? Because they could walk right down there and give them a ticket according to the law, but they don't. Do they?
They don't want to talk. They don't want to walk na eh. Filipino doesn't want to walk.
I didn't say that. You're listening to Filipino that says that.
Yeah, if they think, they will ask for someone go there.
Well, next question. I ask AI. Under the current law, a 9 kilo pedal assist e-bike is legal or not legal on public roads in the Philippines. That's what ours is. It's 19 kilos is all. It's like a bicycle. It's like a heavy bicycle. That's about it. Okay. And it says, under the current Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act, RA 11697, and the LTO guidelines, pedal assist e-bikes weighing less than 50 kilos, that's us, and with a maximum speed of 25, that's us. We don't travel at the speed of light, although we're called light electric vehicles, but not speed of light, huh? These are called LEVs. You don't need a driver's license, and you're limited to barangay roads or designated bicycle lanes. Okay, now here's the tough part. Where can you go anywhere on a barangay road only?
I don't know.
You can't.
Maybe only
Not
in
unless you...
subdivision.
Yeah. Where can you go on? Just a barangay. Almost every place you go requires traveling on a major thoroughfare like a national highway. In our case, it's MacArthur Highway. We can't go anywhere without getting on MacArthur Highway.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, if we're going to Walter, we can go back. We can go back way.
Okay. Local grocery store.
Yeah.
That's it. If we go the long way, twice as far.
But actually, that's better way nga because it's not traffic.
Yeah, well, that's true, but twice as far to avoid a couple of blocks on MacArthur Highway. Okay, so it also says, now here is something that is really crazy. Because of their weight, they don't require a license or registration. But in Metro Manila, they're currently banned from national, circumferential, and radial roads, which again makes it pretty hard to go anywhere unless it's in the neighborhood. Now, unless they use established bike lanes. Now, that's the other toughie, isn't it? We went to Metro Manila. Valenzuela, I believe, has some bike lanes. But has anywhere else we've ever went had bike lanes?
No, only Valenzuela.
Yeah, that's it. So, and what else is in the bike lanes? Buses, trucks, motorcycles use the bike lanes. Where there's bike lanes, sometimes they're there, and sometimes that little lane line is just gone.
And Jeep are the one who always stop on the bike lane.
And Jeeps always stop on the bike lane. Everybody stops, they park, they do everything on the bike lanes. Buses unload. Really tough to use a bike lane if, by some miracle, you should actually find one. So, that's like pointless, totally pointless bike lane because they're almost non-existent. Okay, then what else here? Okay, now I keep thinking of more questions. So now my next question, what will be the effect of the January 2, 2026 crackdown on my pedal assist e-bike, which is a light electric vehicle? Okay, and it says, and nationwide ban will be implemented on January 2 on LEVs. That's what they would call our e-bikes, which would directly affect a 19-kilo pedal assist bike. Okay, road restrictions, prohibited roads. Again, now it's going to be like Metro Manila. It's going to expand Metro Manila's earlier restrictions to everywhere. National, circumferential, and radial roads across the Philippines. Okay, so that takes all the major roads out. So where could you go on our bikes? Barangay roads, local streets, and designated bike lanes. Okay, impossible to go anywhere. Penalties: 2,500 fine per offense, or impoundment. Okay. While the LTO suspended LEV registration and licensing in 2024, unregistered units caught on restricted roads may still be impounded. Okay, this is really confusing to me. So you don't require a registration or a license, but if you are caught on these roads using your unregistered e-bike, you will be subject to impoundment. So I guess what they're saying there is you just can't be on it, period. Okay, next question is, Now, I'm kind of using the old motorcycle waiting idea, but I'm expanding that, and I'm thinking, what would happen? What would happen if I walk my 19 kilo pedal assist bike down a national road sidewalk to avoid apprehension? Okay, my tablet blinked and I lost the page, but now I'm back. Okay, so let's say I'm trying to get around the law here by, okay, I see the cops down the road. So we stop and we walk down the sidewalk. Okay? What would happen? Now, it says here, again, it tells all the restrictions again. And it says, while walking an e-bike is not explicitly banned on sidewalks, sidewalks are used primarily for pedestrians. So large vehicles are unsafe. Well, this is not a large vehicle. This is like bicycle, right? Okay, now it says the ban does not address sidewalk use. So it's going to really be up to the enforcers to decide, but this thing seems to think that you might get a warning. Okay? And officers may ask you to move the e-bike to an allowed area, like a bike lane or barangay road, if they deem it a hazard. So if they look at you and say, you are really a hazard walking that bicycle-like vehicle, and you need to get back in the bike lane, which there's no bike lane, or get back on the barangay road, which means you're going to have to walk the bike somewhere to a road to get on. It makes no sense. And there's no fine for that, while no specific fine is mandated nationally for walking an e-bike on a sidewalk. See? So that's all up in the air. All up in the air. So then I'm thinking, okay, but in the Philippines, there's not very many sidewalks. I mean, what roads have a sidewalk? Let's just put it that way. Not too many have a sidewalk. And if they are, most people actually walk in the road. Even on MacArthur, most people walk in the road because there's businesses, there's stuff parked on. If there's a sidewalk, there's things parked there. Businesses use the sidewalks. So sidewalks are not really for people to walk on. And so I'm thinking, okay, what if there's no sidewalk? So I ask again, will I be able to walk my 19 kilo pedal assist e-bike down a national road if there's no sidewalk? Okay, so AI's thinking about this thing, see? And again, it lists the whole circumstances, the roads you should be on if you're law abiding, you know. But it says, and again, for pedestrians, you should walk on the left shoulder facing oncoming traffic if no sidewalk is available. If you're walking the e-bike as a pedestrian would, or push a non-motorized bicycle, you may be allowed to use the shoulder. So if there's no sidewalk, yes, you should be allowed to use the shoulder as long as you don't obstruct traffic. Right? Sounds good to me. So there's no law saying I can't walk my super light e-bike, which is just like a bicycle, down the road. And specifically, no law prohibiting walking an e-bike down the sidewalk. You know, and the same thing with the shoulder of the road. If there's no sidewalk, yes, you can walk it down the shoulder of the road. Local variations. It says walking an e-bike could pose a risk to both you and motorists. Well, everything poses a risk to you in the Philippines, whether you're walking, riding, whatever you're doing, whether it's whatever kind of anything on foot or anything light, yeah, sure, you're always at risk. But everything in the Philippines is that way. So that's nothing new. Walking down a sidewalk anywhere, you may have holes, or you may have holes in the road. So anyway, It says since LTO has suspended LEV registration and licensing requirements, you will not face fines or impoundment for unregistered units. However, if you are found, you will not face fines or impoundment for unregistered. Oh, I see. They're saying here that you can't be impounded because you're not registered, and registering it isn't required. So, hey, there's a loophole right there that they can't take your e-bike from you, because if it's under 50 kilos, there's no registration required. But it does say, however, if you are found riding the e-bike on a national road or the other prohibited ones, you may be penalized with a 2,500 peso fine. Well, that's all the questions I could think of for tonight before the big crackdown. So it looks like we could walk our e-bikes down the sidewalk, or failing to find a sidewalk, we could walk it down the shoulder of the road and not be fined, or actually not impounded at all because it's not registered and doesn't require registration, and they can only impound registered things according to what I read in the law. So that's it for the night before the great ban. And what you're looking at right here is Josie doing this scratch off while we're having this delicious coffee at the Coffee Buddy. And she took that thing in and she wanted to cash that thing because it was for 70 pesos. Right, Josie?
Yeah, I thought it's 70 pesos.
She's rinsing the hair color right in her hair. So she can't really talk too much, but guess what? It was 770. She misread the thing and thought it was 70. And she got 770. She hit the big time on January 1. So this is her lucky year. You know what? It must be that lucky chicken we had yesterday, huh?
No, I think because of the clothes I wear.
Oh,
That's the color of the year.
it was because of the clothes she's wearing, because his Pantone is the color of the year. Well, for whatever reason, you were a lucky duck today. Well, we're going to be out there tomorrow. Maybe we'll be walking down. We might walk down the road on the sidewalk on our e-bike and test out this theory, huh? Okay. Well, no e-bike prison for us. If this whole video was as confusing to you as it was to me, I agree. It's going to be wild tomorrow. Who knows what's going to happen, but we'll be out there.